The giants of this world seem to have several traits about themselves that knit them together as a species. Littering, for example. Not to mention obliviousness. We could give it a nice little cadence if we call it, let's see, carelessness and cluelessness. I like that. This guy is careless and clueless. They can put the fire out with little trouble, but it points up the need to have someone on guard out here against future incidents. Elsewhere, Barry, Betty, Valerie, and Chipper are out searching for food. Chipper seems to be the only one who's found anything.
It's a tape recorder. It's too small to belong to any giant.
And there must be other people here from Earth.
The tape may give us some clue. Try it.
Maybe the battery's run down.
Let's get it back to the ship and show the others.
For those who are staring at that and saying, that's not even an 8-track, well, first of all, nobody would have used an 8-track cartridge to record a ship's log because they were too unreliable. In particular, after a few months of use, they had a tendency to eat tapes. But even more significant, the system had only been developed about 4 years earlier. Unless you wanted to buy a brand new car with an 8-track stereo in it, they were still priced kind of high and most people couldn't afford one. Throw in the fact that less than 5 years after the invention of the 8-track, the cassette appeared, and 8-tracks weren't going to have much longevity. Recording onto one was a nightmare. I tried it. There was one place in my city of 100,000 people that had the right equipment to do so. Then within about 2 years, everybody can get a little cassette recorder, often with a built-in microphone, and you can record to your heart's content without needing an engineering degree. Even so, for official recordings like this, a lot of systems use reel-to-reel tape to this day. Why? Mainly because it's reliable. If there's a problem with the tape, it just unspools and is easy enough to wind back up. And if there's any damage, it might encompass a second or two of the recording time. With closed systems like 8-tracks or cassettes, if something went wrong, you probably lost the whole bloomin' thing. Cassettes and 8-tracks also run at much slower speeds than reel-to-reel, which can cause distortion, especially in the spoken voice, which makes them less than useful for a vocal recording. They're fortunate that this tape hasn't sustained any visible damage. They just need a way to get enough juice into the player to play it. It'll get a little nip into Mark's arm, but otherwise they're keeping it at bay. Help comes from a source you might least expect. When I was little, things like that were commonly known as friction toys. A spinning flywheel inside made other stuff turn and operate things like the flint wheel that's producing those sparks. Friction in the gears and such made the noise. We kids loved them, and our parents were ready to take the mechanism out after about 5 minutes of listening to one. But this toy seems to have something extra because it's not just operated by friction. I'm not sure what the battery does in that toy, but based on the fact that he threw it away, I'm going to say that one's depleted enough that it doesn't do anything. Nevertheless, now that they have a clear path back to the ship, our boys will grab the battery in hopes that there's enough left in it to help repair the ship. I don't know how many people noticed it, but Fitzhugh is carrying his money case around again. Since he gave the money to Barry, it better be empty. He's supposed to be carrying a chest of food and other provisions, but by the time they find and procure the battery, both that chest and Fitzhugh's knife are missing. They'll have to think about that later because right now Dan wants them back at the ship to examine this thing the other group found. Once they get there, they hook the battery up to the tape recorder, how fortuitous that the two are as compatible as ham and eggs, and listen to the messages.
Log entry, April 14. Major Kagan speaking. It is exactly 1 year since the Giants captured our spaceship and began hunting us down.
Several expeditions into space, or at least low Earth orbit like the Spindrift was doing, have vanished over the years. He must be from one of them.
Our hopes are ebbing. We can no longer believe that help will come from the outside. We're trying to postpone the inevitable, but how long can we hold out? May 10, Kagan. Today they tracked us down with giant bloodhounds. We barely escaped with our lives. All our equipment's lost. We're finished unless we take the supreme risk of trying to recapture our ship. We'll attempt it tonight after dark. We've discovered we have one advantage. The Giants have poor night vision. I pray we succeed. If we don't, I trust this tape will be found by others who may come after us to give them warning.
The next obvious questions: is Major Kagan still alive? If so, how do we find him? Where is his spaceship? And is there a chance that we can hook up with him and the whole bunch of us can get out of here? Steve will send Dan to the outpost to keep watch, put Fitzhugh on guard at the door here, and tell everyone else to get some sleep. Fitzhugh, when Steve said the rest of you get some sleep, that didn't include you. You're on guard duty, remember? I guess he doesn't remember. Something or someone is creeping through the camp and just stole Fitzhugh's blanket. This individual is quiet enough that the only one who hears anything is Chipper.
Chipper? Chipper?
Mr. Fitzhugh, why are you asleep? I suppose you didn't see which way Chipper went.
Sleep? On the post? Never. Keep my eyes closed so I can concentrate better. Hear every sound.
Then you must have heard which way Chipper went, right? The truth is, he's so near asleep he won't even notice when Barry leaves the camp to look for Chipper.
Chipper, come back! Chipper! Chipper!
Major Kagan, I presume.
Where are we going?
Where they'll never find us.
The Giants?
Not the Giants, nor your friends, nor anybody, ever.
You're taking him with you to this hiding place because...
I know my way around this giant world. I've spied out its secrets. I've seen things that drive a man insane.
Trust me, so has he. Sit down and compare horror stories. I think you'll be surprised.
It's only made me more cunning. You think I'm insane, don't you?
No, sir.
You're lying. Admit it. You're afraid of me.
No, sir. Only at first. Not now.
Why not?
Because you're one of us.
He lives in a converted gopher hole and has all the amenities he could scrounge up.
You'll find your way.
I've learned to live in darkness.
I guess darkness isn't as dark on this world as it is on Earth, or he has really adaptable eyes. Glenn Corbett was your typical cowboy actor in his early days, but I know him best from the original Star Trek. In the episode Metamorphosis, the Enterprise encounters a living cloud of energy that calls itself the Companion. Whose companion? None other than Zephram Cochrane, the inventor of the warp drive. Our friend Mr. Corbett here played Cochrane, a man who was having a love affair with a cloud. Other actors would play Cochrane in many more incarnations of Star Trek, but he was the first. And here he's the first actual Earth human our people have encountered in this world. What can you say? He's a trailblazer.
Who are you? What's your name?
Barry Lockridge, sir?
One of those men your father?
No, sir. My parents are dead.
I see. The Giants killed your parents, so you became a Giant spy so they wouldn't kill you too, huh?
No, sir. My parents died on Earth.
Lie to me, boy.
No, sir. Traveling to England to live with some cousins. And the spaceship crashed here.
He's been on his own long enough that he's a little round the bend. To his mind, any Earth-sized person who's still alive must be working with the Giants, and of course the goal of every giant on the planet is to capture Major Kagan. He's that important, at least in his own head. Barry just wants to be friends and find his dog.
May I join the others now?
So I can lead it back here to Get me?
Oh, no, sir. I won't tell them anything if you don't want me to. I won't tell them anything when I get back.
You can never go back.
You have fun trying to enforce that, dude. The first time you have to go hunt for food, he'll find a way to evade you.
Mr. Fitzhugh. Mr. Fitzhugh.
What's up?
I hope you were, Mr. Fitzhugh, because Barry's missing. Thought you might have seen him.
Oh, not a sign of him.
Captain!
At least we know where Chipper is. Maybe they can put him to work tracking Barry down. Fitzhugh can go contemplate the folly of a misspent youth.
Close my eyes just for one moment. No more than that, I assure you.
I'll look for him. Tell the others.
Valerie is fairly petite, but I have a feeling if she wore a size 10 boot, we all know where it'd be right now. Barry has told Major Kagan everything he knows about the rest of the group, how they got there, and what's going on now. Of course, Kagan doesn't believe it. He also doesn't believe in sharing food with a hungry child, but Barry's not concerned about that right now.
You're wearing the NAR insignia. We thought you were all dead.
You are spying on me.
No, sir. I'm your friend, honest. We're all your friends.
He won't have time to contemplate that, though.
It's a gopher building another tunnel. Hey, come back here!
Don't you just hate living next to new construction? You can't shoot that kid. We need him to pick up after the dog.
Did he harm you, son?
No, sir.
Is he alone?
I didn't see anyone else with him.
I've got to get him back to the ship. Come on.
I was about to say, are you sure you want to do that? But he already knows where it is, so it doesn't matter. They can't get through to him. He says, you must be working with the giants because you can live above ground, not crawling around in darkness the way he's been doing. They try to explain that their ship is busted, but they might be able to escape this place in his. He won't tell them anything. Steve has an idea.
We're finished unless we take the supreme risk of trying to recapture our ship. We'll attempt it tonight after dark. We've discovered we have one advantage. Giants have poor night vision. I pray that we succeed. If we don't, I trust this tape will be found by others who may come after us to give them warning.
That did it. He says they took my ship to the Science Center, a complex of buildings where they, do science. Their ship was intact and functional the last time he saw it, so if they can reach it, they might be able to take it home.
Don't believe a word they said.
Stop it. Alexander Fitzhugh is not Zachary Smith. He will not betray the group like this, not after all that's happened. In particular, he won't do that to Barry. But Fitzhugh is going to go on and do a Dr. Smith-style finagle with the usual "I'm the only one you can trust" bit, with the goal of getting himself out of here, and as for the rest,
We should save our own necks at any cost and let Valerie and Betty go hang.
Fitzhugh didn't do it then, and he wouldn't do it now. Nevertheless, he convinces Kagan that he's also their prisoner because they were looking for Kagan, and the two of them have a duty to mankind to escape in his ship and warn Earth, blah, blah, blah. Retrograde is a bad look on you, Fitzhugh. Shame on this writer. The crew comes out and finds them gone. The only starting point they have is the Gopher Tunnel, so Steve and Mark will go there while Dan and the others watch the ship in case those two clowns return.
Almost down! It's a giant walking up above.
Kagan is down for the count and pinned under some huge rocks.
All right. Don't worry. I'm here. I'll have you out in no time. You can always depend on me in a crisis.
For the most part, that's true. He was questionable in the first couple of episodes, but he's reached the point where he understands this isn't just about him.
What was that?
Gopher, he's coming back to repair his tunnel. Hurry up!
You can count on him in a crisis. A gopher battle is another matter.
Come on. No, please.
Good thing he's scareder of Steve and Mark than he is of the gopher. We'll watch Steve fight the gopher while Mark digs Kagan out. Then Kagan says, "Use my bow and arrow." That does the trick. All right, ma'am, you say your husband came home and startled a gang of intruders, and when he confronted them, they killed him with this pointy thing. Is that your story?
I told you I'd get you out.
Now I know who to believe.
Can't blame a wanted man for trying.
We most certainly can. The person who wrote this is about 6 episodes too late. Fitzhugh is past all that. We seem to have forgotten that he gave the money to Barry, or that he's even more attached to Barry than he is to the money, which means no way would he betray the boy like that. Stop trying to make him Dr. Smith. Let him be Fitzhugh. Kagan explains that this gopher tunnel leads to the Science Center. From there, he and his crew found an air duct to the inside where the ship is.
What stopped you then?
I don't know. I can't remember. It's all blotted out except the terror.
The terror of what? Does it involve the death of your men?
I think so.
That's as much as he can remember. Whatever it was so awful his mind has it locked in a soundproof room where it can't be seen or heard. And whatever it was, he was the only one who escaped it. Now he's got a solid mental block against going back there. No matter how much his will says go, his body refuses to budge any time he even thinks about it. He'll give it his best, but he can't promise anything. He's drawn them a map of the place and how to get there. They'll split into 2 groups. Dan will take one group through the air duct while Steve takes the other group to see if they can find another way in. They're hiding by a light pole, and there's a guard by the door who's decided that's the perfect place to eat his lunch.
The red wire is hot, but I can unscrew the green one. It's a ground wire.
For this to work, he needs to short that ground wire to the hot wire without turning himself into roast beast in the process. Except electricity works different here. Disconnecting the ground wire makes the light go off. The guard heads inside to report it and leaves the door open. They couldn't have gotten a better deal than that if they bought one from Amazon.
Okay, in we go.
Me?
Move!
What's wrong?
I can't.
You promised to try, Major Kagan.
I can't go in there.
All right, stay put. Barry, you stay here with him. We'll be back for you.
Yes, sir.
The grate at the other end of the vent is too heavy for them to move, and there's a giant sleeping at his desk in the room. As quietly as possible, Dan manages to get Steve's attention. Kagan's ship is also on that table, right next to the sleeping scientist. Fitzhugh will stay down with the women, and the others will climb up to see about it.
Dismantle. It sure is.
I see another problem. That's not a spaceship, that's a space capsule. Not only does it need a rocket to carry it to escape velocity, there's no way you're going to fit 8 people in there. 3 would be a major squeeze. That thing couldn't get the bunch of you home even if it was in one piece. Mark starts looking for salvage parts, but there's no time. The giant is waking up. Outside, Kagan's memory is slowly returning. He's telling Barry that it's a death trap in there. Barry wants to go warn the others. Barry, they're already in there, have been for some time. Either they already blundered into it, or they didn't encounter it.
And the cord. Yeah.
Remember when you invented that smart lamp that adjusts itself to keep the best light on the part you're reading? He spotted them, so they yanked the lamp clear down and knocked the bulb out. Now maybe they can take advantage of that poor night vision Kagan mentioned.
Something's happened.
Don't go!
And now we know what the terror is that Kagan couldn't bring himself to remember.
Major Kagan! Help!
Irwin Allen's spiders have come a long way since that trial on Lost in Space. No wonder Kagan didn't want to remember. Scientist guy has called the guard in because the guard has a flashlight. Fortunately, when Steve pulled the lamp down, one of those flash bulbs came with it. Dan breaks it open to expose the magnesium filaments inside, and we let physics do its thing.
Now cover your eyes.
I'll bet their night vision's even worse now. They can all hear Barry's screams now, but Kagan gets there first. Since we didn't see all of it, I'm not sure how that happened. He wasn't caught in the web that we could see, and since Barry got away, he should have had time to get away too. We don't get to know. We do get to infer that when his crew was in trouble from that spider, he froze and he's hated himself for it ever since. His face said he wasn't going to let that happen again no matter what it cost him. His ship isn't going to be any help even for parts, but it was never about the ship. This is a story of redemption. Kagan failed his crew and it tortured his mind. When he got his chance to make up for it and not freeze in the clutch, he took it. And you suspect he was okay with the outcome because at least he did something really good with it.
Log entry. Major Kagan died last night. He was a very brave man. He saved my life. Thanks to him, we gained valuable information, which will help us return to Earth.
I have to sign off now. Betty says the spider soup is ready. That's how it works in this world. You eat one of us, we eat you. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please click the thumbs up. It really does help the channel. If you're not subscribed yet, the button looks something like this. So click it and join our little family. There's a bell there that may or may not actually work to give you notifications when we post something, but it can't hurt to click it just in case. You can also join our Patreon for as little as $2 a month and help me keep expanding and improving the channel. The link is in the description, along with links to a lot of other fun stuff I do. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.